Welcome back to the Virtual Grip Network for the second race this evening and the culmination of Season 27 of the Late Model Invitational Series. As my buddy Soup would say, a warm hello and welcome from the Sunshine State as we have arrived to the Floribama coast in Pensacola, Florida for Five Flag Speedway action. We're going to watch these drivers wrestle their late model stock cars into submission around this half-mile oval for 100 laps. Will John Wilson be able to wrap up his third Bootleg Racing League championship tonight? He holds a 9-point advantage over Todd Liston coming into tonight's event, and he wants to sweep the series for the season. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ricky Hard-in-the-Wall Hardin, and joining me in the booth tonight is none other than Zach Shaggy Chapman. Behind the scenes, we've got Ryan Seneker in the production trailer, making sure we catch all the action with those fantastic camera angles and producing the show. Now let's bring in my partner, Zach. Shaggy, what can we expect tonight here at Five Flags?
Well, right now I'm riding on board here with Mark Herzog, going through 1 and 2, and, we're going to see guys drag that brake on corner entry, try to get the car to help turn a little bit. Now, turns 3 and 4, if you watch the first race, Steven Spies talked a little bit about there. He just went over it. There's a little bump there, and you can see he had to snap the wheel a little bit. That's going to, as we get on lap 40 and going, as that right rear starts to get warm and it really starts to wear out from that trail braking, you're going to see cars start to snap there, especially maybe a little bump from behind. So, Ricky, if you're in this points battle, you better hold on tight because it's going to be a wild 100 laps.
And we know it every single week in these late model cars. Tire wear is a big factor. These guys have to hold on to those tires throughout the 100 laps. They don't have any extra sets laying in the pit lane. So you'll see these guys wrestle these cars, and maybe we'll see that top lane come in more than it did in the SK Modified race. If you haven't seen that, we'll let you go back and watch it and see what happened. But it was a doozy. These guys are going to try to manage that tire wear all night long. So as we get going, let's take a look at the point standings coming into the season finale. It's John Wilson coming in with a 9-point advantage over Todd Liston. Bruce Pearson an additional 6 points back in third place, and it's a tight battle for that final step of the podium in the standings. As fourth place, Kurt Smith is only 1 point back of Pearson. Joseph Snyder has the final spot in the top 5, and it's been feast or famine for the only multi-time winner in the top 10 this season. That's Mike Holloway, and he sits in 6th. Joe Segala fell to 7th after last week's 15th place finish. Chris Hazlip has shown great speed at times this season, but he only has 8th place to show for it, and he's over Lowell Jewell in the 9th spot. Rounding out the top 10, Tom Hilbert, he's the only one who's finished, or he's only finished in the top 10 one time this season, and it was a 5th place finish earlier at Hickory. So good job getting in the top 10 this year. So as we get ready to go racing tonight, let's put the spotlight on John Wilson. John Wilson trying to secure that championship, and we're going to make him that over-under driver tonight. Shaggy, our friends in Vegas, they set the over-under on the Canadian Goose at 9.5. Choose the under if you think he's going to finish better, or the over if you think he's going to finish worse than 9th.
Well, I think we're down here in the U.S. of A. here, down in Florida. Very patriotic. Nothing against John Wilson, but I think that championship here, I think it's going to stay in the United States. He may have some ill fate coming his way this evening.
Oh boy, shots fired at Canada, our friends to the north. All they do is be friendly and like maple syrup. I don't know why you'd treat them that way, but we'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be an interesting battle. This is a bigger grid with the late model stock cars than we have with the SK Modifieds that we've been watching a lot of lately. There's 19 guys here to do battle, so big point swings. That's 19 points between first and last. So those top 4 guys are only 16 points apart from each other. So anything can happen between those guys, and you'll see them highlighted in yellow on your scoring pylon tonight. But we're getting ready to get on the grid, and we're going to tell you how they're going to line up. And starting on the pole, it's going to be the boss man Lowell Jewell in the number 2 car. Sorry, that's wrong. I'm looking at a totally different standings. Joe Segala in the 81 car. There he is, all the way up at the front. Oh, we're scrolling. There he is. Tom Hilbert is outside the 61 car, Shaggy.
Inside of row number 2 is that 93 of Chris Hazlip into his outside. The man trying to take that championship here tonight, going 2 for 2 in the 87 Todd Liston.
Joseph Snyder, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, going to roll off in the 5th spot with Kurt Smith in the 6th car, matching his car number with his starting spot, starting 6th.
Inside of row number 4, the 52 of Steve Hilberton is outside the 32 of Trey Bloom.
Mike Holloway, we talked about it in the opening. It's been feast or famine for him, but he's got more wins than anybody on the season. He's got 2. Actually, Jeffrey Harden tied with him in that way, but Jeffrey hasn't been here every week. But he's going to be rolling off 9th with the double deuce. Bruce Pearson is outside in 10th.
Inside of row number 6, the 79 of Adam Shane into his outside. The points leader, the Canadian Goose, John Wilson.
The double nickel, Steven Spies. He showed a lot of speed earlier tonight. We won't give anything away, but likes this track, starting in the Baker's Dozen spot there in 13th. With the other Canadian in the field, Scott Negut's going to roll off in 14th in the 29 car.
Row number 8, you got Ricky's long-lost cousin there, Jeffrey, rolling off P15, and is outside the boss man, Luke Jewell.
Donnie Moore all the way back in the 17th spot with Mark Herzog. Haven't seen him a lot this season. Going to be rolling off in the 18th spot. And rounding out the field, the 25, Brennan Myers, shotgun on the field. 19 drivers strong. So it should be interesting to watch these guys as they get the 1-to-go signal. What you looking out for? Who you watching?
Todd Liston, he's got the most to lose here. He's starting on the outside, row number 2. I'm anxious to see how hard he fights to get on the inside. He knows he's got to get down there quick, and he's got to get to the front. That's really the only chance he has to win tonight, Ricky.
It's going to be fun to watch, and that outside lane usually is a little bit of a tough lane to get rolling early in the event. That 81, Joe Segala on the inside. He's going to be on the loud pedal. He gets away. Look at that jump. He's way out in front. Oh, Kingpin with the bowling pins on the side, and Tom Hilbert also gets a good jump. He's going to clear the 93 of Hazlip going down into turn 1.
Yeah, front 3 break away pretty well, but now Todd Liston, he's looking on the outside for 3rd as he gets run up the track a little bit. Got to live to fight another day. Long race.
Yeah, the outside looking strong right off the get-go. Running up there, he's able to carry a lot of speed. That's Liston, and there's trouble behind him. Aiden Young or Adam Shane, he's on his lid. Adam Shane flips back over in the middle of turns 1 and 2. What happened back here?
Drives in a little deep. Gets into the side of, who is that? Is that Bruce Pearson?
Yep, that's right. Double deuce Bruce Pearson. Kind of had a sharp angle coming down the track, but Adam Shane was a little higher up the track. I wanted to call him Aiden Young. There's one number away. He's got the 7 instead of the 6 right there. We haven't seen Aiden Young much this season, but those two guys get together in turns 1 and 2. Shane goes around double nickel there of Steven Spies gets in it, but big news. Look at the 75 of John Wilson. He goes off the side of Steven Spies and gets hard into the outside wall there, does John Wilson. So that's championship implications right there. He has a meatball flag. He is required to fix damage, and he's in the pits now.
Yeah, that's a tough break. It's kind of a product of he finished too well last week, and when you start in the back of the field here, tight field, these cars fighting for room here early on, it's real easy to get caught in someone else's mess.
Man, that could be a big deal here as they come back around the track, and let's see if he can get it out in time to stay on the lead lap. He will not do so. The pace car goes by him right here, and he's got heavy right front damage. So already falling off of the lead lap, what he's going to have to do here is just get as much damage as required to fix, and then get that thing back out on the track and see if he can make up some time. Anybody you want to talk to out there, Shaggy?
Let's go ahead. Let's bring up the leader here, Joe Segala.
All right, you take it. Have a chat with him.
Hey, Joe, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Not as well as you right now. You're got out to an early lead there out front. How's the car feeling? What's the plan here for the long run? How you save those tires?
Just trying to keep the car underneath me for right now. Car's a little loose coming off the corners. That's why I was fighting in practice. And that's about all I can do. As far as saving tires, I don't bother saving tires anymore. I'm either going to make it or I'm not.
My man, dude, you got to go for broke here. Last race of the season here, not really in the overall points championship battle. So what would it feel like to go out here and end the season with a win, Joe?
It'd be great. It'd be my first televised win ever, but I'll also be happy with the podium. I'd be good enough with that.
Well, hey, man, keep all 4 sneakers under it. You're one to go here. Good luck, brother.
Thank you.
There you have it. Joe Segala up there going to restart on the front row, and wanted to make a note of John Wilson. He is back on the track 1 lap down. He also has Adam Shane out there 1 lap down. They're both at the tail end of the field right here. We saw Adam Shane take that little roll back there, but that's going to be an interesting one to watch, because if you're the first car lap down and the caution comes out, you can get that lap back. But we're going green. Joe Segala on the loud pedal. He gets away once again. Tom Hilbert, not a great restart on the outside lane. Todd Liston is really pushing him down the front stretch.
Yeah, Todd, odd man out once again, stuck on the outside second row. He wants nothing more than to get down to that inside. He knows there with the early trouble from John, if he can go up here and get a win, he's got a legitimate chance of going 2 for 2 here this season.
That's right, and they're double file several rows deep right here with Hazlip underneath the 61 of Hilbert and Todd Liston to the outside of the Butcher of Baton Rouge. That is the 39 of Joseph Snyder. Behind them, you see Trey Bloom and Kurt Smith side by side. So 2 by 2 by 2. And oh no, Trey Bloom goes around off of turn 4. Is anybody going to hit him? No, they all make it just barely squeaking by the outside. And 32 goes around. But John Wilson at the back of the field was able to get by Adam Shane on that restart. And he's going to get that lucky dog. Let's take a look. Coming off of turn 4 right here, you see the 32 just get loose down there. We heard Segala talk about that on your interview with him.
Yeah, real easy to do going over that bump. I talked about it a little bit. Well, Steven actually threw that into us, talked about how it helped turn the car, and with how much you use the right rear on these things, you got to wonder how much, you're going to have left here coming with 20 to go. But I don't want to throw something at Ryan here, but just something that maybe you can look at, Jeffrey, and I'm interested to see, or Ricky here, maybe see your take on it. I went back and looked at that restart here when John was able to get by Adam, and looked like he passed him low before the start-finish line there on the restart, that Adam wasn't able to really get the car going, and we know what that means. That's probably a black flag.
Yeah, don't see a penalty on John Wilson right now, and he does get the free pass. He's going to come around the outside right here, and he'll be back on the lead lap. So I didn't watch it, but I'm sure he timed that just about right and made it happen. Or maybe he was supposed to be in front of him and wasn't sure where he was supposed to be lined up, and that may have been the – yeah, here's a replay of it right here. Yeah, it looks like Shane's supposed to be in the top lane, and the 75 of Wilson's supposed to be in the bottom lane, so that is why he was able to get by him on the inside right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, with that double file restart there in the back, that made a little sense. I was worried for him there. My heart sunk a little bit.
Yeah, I was too when you said that. I went and had to check on the penalties and make sure we were all good. You want to have a chat with somebody before we get the one to go here?
Yeah, let's see. Let's bring up Chris Hazlip there in the 93.
We've seen Hazlip slipping up the track just a little bit there on the restart. But Chris, yeah, you're running in the second spot. How's she feeling?
It feels pretty good. Would rather be on the inside on this restart, but I figure I'll make my way back mid-pack if I can't get down. But it feels good, actually. I feel pretty good on pace.
Long way to go in the race. How you feel about the tire wear in this thing? Is the balance a little on the tight side or on the loose side?
I actually feel like I'm a little bit on the tight side, but it seems to loosen up after 2 or 3 laps. And, I'm just trying to make some laps and keep her somewhere. Hopefully last to the end.
Well, good luck out there. Have fun. We're doubling up. Got to get on that outside lane. There you go. Good luck on the restart, and keep her up front.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
I heard something that worried me there, Ricky, and I'm not sure if, maybe it worried you too, but a tight race car in a late model this early in the race, that's not going to be a good sign for tire wear.
That is very true, but a lot of times in the late model stock, you can change your driving technique a little bit and change how she handles. But coming to the restart zone, there he goes. It's Joe Segala on the loud pedal. He gets away, and it's side by side for the second spot. You see the 61 of Tom Hilbert to the inside, and Hazlip falls back to third.
Yeah, Hazlip, he's got that little room there, and now the door's not open anymore. Liston's able to suck up, but he said he's willing to drop back to mid-pack, just be, doesn't have to be aggressive early. You just got to bide your time right now.
And coming off of turn 4, Liston looked to the inside of Tom Hilbert, but thought better about making it 3 wide. That's not what you want to do at this time in the race. It is risky, and you don't want to do that when you're staring down the barrel of a championship where you're sitting as they run. So he thinks better of it, and he falls in line, but he's got nowhere to go behind these 2 double file in front of him.
No, and a little behind them, that 55 is Steven Spies. Oh, man.
Contact between the 61 of Hilbert and the 87 of Liston coming off of turn 2. Liston's getting a little impatient riding behind Tom Hilbert right here. I think he wants him to get boogieing.
Yeah, we just saw the leader, Justin Gallagher, get a little loose, too, coming out of 4. So everybody's trying to get on it right now. I mean, he sees the guys coming in behind his mirror, and, I mean, it's go time here. He gets loose again.
It looked like both of those guys in front of Liston got loose. Hilbert and Hazlip both were sideways coming off of turn number 4. So it sounds like what Hazlip said may be true. They get the tires up to temperature, and then they're starting to get a little squirrely, and we haven't seen them get long runs. As you see, Hazlip get a little sideways there through turn 4, and side by side with Liston now to his inside.
Yeah, and, Ricky, somebody like me who's an idiot and doesn't know how to drive one of these, what can you do to help that out? How can you change the car on entry to help it on exit?
Yeah, sometimes you just need to drive it up the track a little in the center, sort of diamond to the corner. Drive it straight off the corner as you can. If it's starting to get loose, the remedy is to take wheel out of it in the middle of the corner. So that's what these guys need to try to do. But if you're right on that inside lane, like we see Hilbert in the 61 car, she can get real loose on exit. You see Hilbert get a little loose on exit right there. Behind him, you see Liston up the track a little bit more. He's a little over a half a lane off the bottom. He drives it down to the bottom for corner exit, and he's driving straight off without getting loose.
Yeah, and the less wheel input, the better, less tire wear. So all in all, you make up that speed and you're saving tires. So the good guys know how to do both.
Contact behind him. Holloway goes around. Yep, Holloway sideways in the middle of the track. Gets a little bit of contact from Negus, and Trey Bloom late comes in there and gives a little boop to the side of the 23 car. But you saw it live right here on VGN. He got a little bit of contact, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's... You could say that maybe the 23 backed up the corner, but if you watch here, the 93 pushes up in the center of the corner, just overdrives a little bit, and Mike Holloway, you got to feel for the guy. Nothing he could really do about that.
And holding the brake there, just waiting for everyone to go by. That's what you're supposed to do. And Trey Bloom had the car pointed when he got in the middle of the corner and just kind of froze and ran right into him, and that's going to cause some damage that Holloway is going to be forced to pit road to fix. He's got some suspension damage likely on the left front wheel right there. You see John Wilson coming back to pit road to get more damage fixed as well. We saw that he lost a lap earlier, got back on the lead lap, and here he's going to get a little more damage repair.
Yeah, if you're at that point, why not? I mean, you got so much damage that you're running around the back of the lead lap anyway. You got to try to keep this thing somewhat competitive, improve it every caution, and little by little just chip back, and you never know, he could find himself at the top of the point standings just yet.
And Adam Shane's going to get the free pass right here, get himself back on the lead lap, which will put all 19 cars back on the lead lap, pending the guys that are on pit road right now. Holloway and Trey Bloom look like they're both going to lose a lap as the last car got back on the lead lap. Hey, why don't we have a chat with Tom Hilbert running in that second spot, see what he's feeling up here. We're 27 laps into this thing. Tom's been able to keep this thing in the top 3 all night long. Tom, how you feeling at Five Flags?
It actually feels pretty good.
What do you think about running that outside lane? It looks like some of the guys are able to sort of pinch the guy down and get a good run on the exit.
Yeah, I think the outside is good for a while, but just like anywhere else, I think it goes away pretty quick.
All right, what do you think about the tire wear here? Are you going to be able to hang on to tires long enough?
I'll just say I hope so.
Shaggy, you got something for Tom?
Yeah, Tom, hey, man, we see a lot of drivers fighting a loose race car off of 3 and 4. Are you guys feeling the bump that bad? Is that what's doing that to you guys?
Yeah, I think if you just drop your left sides onto that apron a little bit, you're done.
Well, man, you're looking good so far. A long way to go. Keep the tread on them tires, man. Go up here and give those dogs a fight.
All right, guys, thank you.
We get the 1 to go signal right there. In that front row, Joe Segala and Tom Hilbert, you've heard both of them. They both aren't usually interested in keeping the shoes on the car the whole time that we run these 100-lap races. They're both wanting to get as big of a lead as they possibly can. But here at Five Flags, it's going to be interesting to watch them and see if they can hang up front.
And, you know, with this pace of race, it maybe fits their style a little bit. We've had quite a few cautions, so we'll have to see.
Joe Segala on the loud pedal. They're back under a green flag. He gets a great jump, and it's Todd Liston to the inside of Hilbert. He's going to take the second spot down into turn 1.
And if you're Hilbert, you got to get aggressive on this wheel. You got a long line of cars there underneath you, so he's got to take your advice, Rick. You got to pinch that guy down.
3 wide further back. It's a double nickel of Steven Spies to the inside of Hazlip. Hazlip dropping like a rock. He got out of there in a hurry. He did not want to be 3 wide with guys, and he let everybody go by there. He was up front not long ago, and now he's all the way back toward the rear of the field in 12th position.
Yeah, including John Wilson there with that repaired car and moving up through the field. So every position matters right now for that 75.
Yeah, and as they run, he sits in the John Wilson sits in the 13th position while Liston sits in the 2nd. Battle for the lead. It's Todd Liston to the inside of Joe Segala. So now Todd Liston is in the lead. If they finish how they are running right now, it would be a 12-point swing. That's enough to put Todd Liston in the points lead and give him the championship. So he would love for the race to finish now, but it's not going to. We're only a third of the way through as we come back to the line.
No, and he's got a lot of hungry dogs behind him here moving up through the field. So as much as, you know, want to say, hey, maybe he can sail away, win this thing, sail off into the sunset, a long way to go. And, Ricky, I don't think we're done with cautions just yet.
No, this car is not happy. It's not handling well. Nobody really looks comfortable out there. Guys are either pushing up really bad right in the center, or they're getting really loose on the exit of the corner. So it seems like there's a lot of trade-offs that you have to make with the way that you drive this car. You got to get it turning, but you also got to keep it under you off the corner, and that's what we're seeing guys have trouble with here tonight.
Yeah, running double file there.
Oh, contact between the 57 of Herzog and the 25 of Brennan Myers. Myers gets sideways. He's getting swallowed up with cars on both sides of him now. You see Steven Spies and Donnie Moore to his inside, Hilbert to his outside. There's still 3 wide through 3 and 4. More contact off of turn number 4 with Steven Spies and the 55. There's still 3 wide down at turn 1.
Man, something's got to give here as they finally break out of that 3 wide, but I have no idea how he held onto that there in the outside. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, both of those guys, Herzog and Myers, were really out of shape coming off of turn number 2 the lap before. Very good job hanging on to those cars and then being in the middle of all of that action. Myers did a great job getting out of there. That car does not look happy now. He looks like he heated up the right rear doing all of that, and it's wiggling all over the place for him, but just trying to stop the bleeding now on the outside of Spies.
No, yeah, and you know how easy that would have been for Myers to just lift out of that and realize, hey, man, I saved the car and keep on rolling.
Oh, contact between he and Spies. Spies and Myers into the outside wall down the back straightaway. They both keep it pointed in the right direction. No caution. They're going to be 3 wide with Lowell Jewell to their inside. Lowell gets through there, and Steven Spies now to the outside with Brennan Myers to the inside. It looked like Myers may have gotten a little bit loose off of turn number 2. Just hooked Spies. Look, he hooked Spies in the right rear, and Spies comes down and it looks like shows his displeasure on the back straightaway. Those two get together, but look at this. The 75 of John Wilson now to the inside of Tom Hilbert, who we interviewed just a minute ago. That's going to put John Wilson up into the top 10, and by doing so, that would give him a 9-point swing, which would put a tie between Todd Liston and John Wilson. I'm not sure of all the tiebreaker scenarios, but this is going to be something to watch throughout the night.
Tom Hilbert there, he just found himself victim to that 55, and Myers there, they are running hard. He found himself on the outside, got hip checked a little bit. The 55 there of Spies and Myers, they are going hard.
Yeah, 3 wide back here, and I can't believe how much 3 wide action we've seen tonight. The 32 of Trey Bloom to the bottom, Adam Shane in the middle, and Hilbert on the top. Hilbert has just been booted out of the way so many times being on that outside lane. You don't want to be there, and he backs out of it, and he's going to fall behind Mike Holloway in that 23 car. Now, these guys get it sorted out and get going back in the right direction, but I'm taking a look right now at the 75 of John Wilson because that car is still not handling well. He has been ill handling since taking on this damage. He moved through the field as some of these guys were battling, but as they sorted it out, it just looks like he doesn't have the pace that some of these other cars have.
No, and this is where you got to kind of worry too. I mean, the 2 guys behind him, they were up towards the front. You know, they're feeling a little feisty right now. you want to win this points championship, but how hard do you really fight these guys behind you when you know they're that much faster?
That's right. Battle inside the top 5. Scott Negus to the inside of the Butcher of Baton Rouge. That's the 39 of Joseph Snyder. He's going to get the pass made on Snyder down on the inside, so move Scott Negus up into the 4th position. And Mark Herzog looking to get into that battle as well. Close it in on the 39 machine.
Yeah, Negus started 14th, so up 10 spots. I mean, clearly this has to be a track he likes. Was able to move up in the earlier race after getting spun too. So he's got a good feel here for 5 flags, and maybe a caution could help him out, and he may be battling for the lead here.
And he was the class of the field last week at Oswego. And, Soup talked about it all week. He called a shot. He said that Negus was going to have a good run. He shows pace very frequently, but doesn't always seal the deal. As you see Mark Herzog also get around that 39 of Joseph Snyder. But Negus, over these last few weeks, really turning it up and really looking good.
Yeah, Spees and Myers back here going back at it again. Spees able to go around. Adam Shane trying to hook toe here, but right now it's all happening behind that. Not currently the points leader, but man, I just can't help but hold my breath for that 75. You got to feel for him. He's got a wounded race car, and he's got a lot of speed behind him.
Yeah, and these guys are coming, and Spees is all over the back end now of John Wilson, and he's going to be looking for a way around that car as everyone stacks up behind him.
We haven't talked about that leader in a while here, but he was able to make quick work of Joe Segala, and you got to wonder if maybe he's doing what we talked about in the earlier race, Ricky. Just setting that pace. He hasn't really tried to pull away from Joe, just keeping it at that nice little 2-3 car gap and just feathering that thing out of the corners.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and that's in typical Todd Liston fashion. He gets to where he wants to be, he backs it down to where he wants to run. He's not pulling away from Segala, and he's just managing the gap, and that's what you do when you get out front in these late model stock cars. You got to keep those tires on it, and I think he's doing a great job. I think he's going to have something left for him at the end of this race.
Yeah, just a couple laps over the halfway point here, so still a long way to go. So
look at this battle right here with the 75 of John Wilson up the track, losing positions to the 25 of Brendan Myers and the 32 of Trey Bloom, and now the 23 of Holloway goes by. They are lined up to his inside.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough break for him. Can't find a way down to the bottom, and even if he could, how long can he hold it with the pace that he has right now? He's got to hope for at least 1, maybe 2 more cautions to try to fully repair that thing and go for one last strike.
Yeah, and the problem when you have damage like that is oftentimes the steering is not working the way you want it to. I know he had some suspension damage on the right front tire, and when that happens, you can really wear the tires out a lot more than you typically do. So he's doing damage to his race even while fixing damage under caution, if you know what I mean. So he may get in there and fix some more damage, but then have to deal with worse tire wear than he would have had with no damage.
Yeah, just that extra wheel input of fight in the tight race car there after the suspension, that can really do you in. And these guys have kind of settled down here after their early aggression here, running a little bit single file. You got to wonder if it's just the calm before the storm here.
Yeah, there's definitely guys closing in on one another throughout this field. We were just looking at Negus closing in on the back of the 6 of Kurt Smith. He's trying to look for something and make it happen. Further back, we have some side-by-side battle between Trey Bloom and Mike Holloway, the 32 and the 23. They're the inverse of each other right there. And it's Holloway looking to the outside of Trey Bloom to try to make something happen, coming off of turn 4 right here.
Yeah, and remember, if they're battling for the lucky dog there, Ricky. So, I mean, that really does matter between those two guys. And you see they clearly still have some pace, much faster than that 75. So if they could get a caution, that's what that battle's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to ride around. You want to get it. You don't know how many cautions there's going to be left. So you got to make it happen while you can. And there's Negus to the inside of Kurt Smith. He's going to make that happen there. Off of turn 4, they get a little bit of contact on the front straightaway. And Negus just about went around it. Kurt Smith is going to get down in line behind him. Further up, there's some more battle, or further back, there's some more battling right there with a double deuce of Bruce Pearson to the outside of Adam Shane. Adam Shane going to get the job done.
Yeah, and while they're battling there, they're still closing up on the 2 of Lowell Jewell. Big gap to Donnie Moore in front of him. So Lowell, if he's got anything in that tank, he's got to turn them jets on.
And there's Pearson right there on your screen with Steven Spees all over his rear end. Pearson's been dropping really hard here and just trying to stop the bleeding, and he's got one more coming right here. Steven Spees looking to his outside off of turn number 2. Is he going to be able to get a run down the backstretch? Almost there, not quite. Behind them, they're still battling for that lucky dog. It's the 23 of Holloway holding that spot right now in front of Trey Bloom. So he was able to get the job done, and they're working under Brennan Myers, who's not on the same lap as them. But I think Holloway's just trying to get away from Trey.
Yeah, just got to secure that lucky dog and get far enough in front to know that they're not going to make any contact and actually receive that lucky dog. So he's just got to be smart here. But, man, the 55, he is wearing that 22 out. He keeps trying to go high, low, but that 22 is not getting off the bottom.
All right, let's go back up. Let's go back up to the front. Scott Negus looking to the inside of Joe Segala right here. This is for the second position. And the caution flag flies. There's an incident further back in the field. It's Bruce Pearson, the double deuce. He goes around on the front straightaway. We'll have to take it back, look back and see what happened there.
I warned you guys. I saw him blocking that bottom for about 2 laps, and I think the 55 finally had enough.
Yeah, I think Spees thought that the bottom was going to be open there off of turn number 4. He was going to poke out to the inside, and the 22 shut that door before it was ever open, and Spees was not having any of that. And round goes the double deuce into the inside wall. Pretty hard contact right there, so he's going to probably have to do a little bit of repairs to that car to get it back up to proper speed. This is beneficial for John Wilson. You see the Canadian Goose going down into pit lane right here. He was able to stay on the lead lap, but he needs to get more damage repair to get that thing back up to the pace of everyone else.
Yeah, definitely, gets to repair that. But as we talked earlier, I mean, Mike Holloway, he'll get the lucky dog here. So that's one more position now that John has to fight for. So got to take the good with the bad, I guess.
Exactly. Still, that'll put 18 cars on the lead lap out there. So, man, oh man, that will do something to you if you're John Wilson. It'll scare you for sure. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to make any more speed after doing some damage repair on that thing. Why don't we dial somebody up out there? Anybody you want to talk to?
Let's bring up Herzog.
And Mark Herzog really worked his way up through the field so far tonight. Mark, looking good out there, up 13 spots into the top 5. What do you have for these guys?
Well, it's going to come down to, hopefully, I got an inside spot, so hopefully I can get one spot. But these cars are just so close here, it's really hard to get it past. The only way you can get it past is somebody makes a mistake or catches a little bit of wall.
Shaggy, you got something for me?
Yeah, Mark, with coming up here, we're going to have, 28 to go probably when we get the green flag. How's that right rear feel? Are you loose coming off the corners, or you still got a lot of grip left in that thing?
It's still pretty good grip up if I, modulate my throttle pretty good. So we'll see, It's going to be interesting. Like I said, it's real tight here, so people are so close to each other. It's going to take a mistake on somebody's part to get by somebody.
Well, good luck out there. Have fun. Try to make something happen. Get up in those top 3 so we can talk to you later on.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your night.
Mark Herzog running inside the top 5 after starting deep in the field tonight. So great work of everybody. He is our biggest mover of the night, right behind Scott Negus on this restart. Negus is also up 11 spots. So both those guys moving up quite a bit. And we haven't talked a lot about Don Moore. Donnie Moore is all the way up into the 7th position. He started 17th tonight. So doubling up for the restart is Todd Liston on the inside of the front row with Kingpin Joe Segala on the outside of the front row. And they're coming back to this restart. That 29 of Scott Negus, he's been coming fast. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can do anything. It's Todd Liston on the loud pedal. He gets away all by his lonesome out there, and they're side by side behind him.
Yeah, Joe Segala maybe caught sleeping a little bit. Mark Herzog might get more than just one here as he's fishing for P3 on the bottom going on the backstretch.
That inside lane prevails. You see all 3 of the guys that were lined up in the inside, now top 3 in the running order. So the first guy on the outside lane, Joe Segala, all the way back to the 4th position, and it's going to be Jeffrey Harden looking to his inside off of turn number 2 right now to make it 4 for 4 on the inside lane in the top 4.
3 of the top 4 right now have gained over 10 spots, so we thought it would be hard to pass. They've shown otherwise here, Ricky. Got some big movers here tonight.
Little contact further back. Donnie Moore goes way up the track into the marbles, keeps it out of the wall, keeps it going straight. Remember that Donnie Moore is also fighting for a great position here in the championship. He wants to get in that top 10. He's a little further back because he's missed some nights, but man, Donnie Moore keeps it out of the wall right there. That was really close between those guys. Look at Lowell Joel to the inside of Kurt Smith down in turn 3.
Yeah, Lowell really making that move work here. Trying to break his way into the top 5 up to 7th. And Kurt Smith now, he's stuck on the outside here, and he's got a long line of cars looking to get underneath him.
Yeah, Steven Spies being the first of them, and he hasn't gotten away from Brennan Myers all night long. Those two have been either stacked up side by side or nose to tail all race from what I've seen. And it's going to be Spies getting into the side of Kurt Smith going down to the turn number 1. He wants to drive him up the track a little on entry so he can point it in the middle and get down the track or get pointed for a good exit. And the caution flies again. We've got another incident out there, and it's going to be on the back. Where is it? On the back straightaway with Hilbert.
Yeah, him and the 23 of Mike Holloway get into it coming out of 2. Just fighting for the same real estate.
Yeah, it looks like Hilbert really opened up the bottom, and Holloway got his nose in there, got all the way up to the rear, and they made a little bit of contact, just kind of ran out of room right there, and Hilbert ends up with big contact into the outside. Well, everybody able to avoid him, though. So good job on the last couple cars in the field there to avoid Steve.
Yeah, no, that really is one of them ones. I mean, it sounds cliche, Ricky, but true racing deal there. I mean, they really are. They're just fighting for the same spot. You can't put blame on either one of the guys. You said Steve left it open, and what kind of racer would Mike be if he didn't shoot a gap there? So that's going to happen here. Running out of laps, patience go thin.
That's right. Trey Bloom's going to get back on the lead lap. That's going to put all 19 cars on the lead lap, although Steve Hilbert sits in the pits getting some repairs, so he may end up falling off of the lead lap right here while he does that. But, man, that's got to scare a guy like the John Wilson machine in the 75.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough break for him, but, you don't ever want to wish misfortune on anyone, but that's almost what he's got to do here for Todd Liston. He's got to hope that 29 or that 57 is real hungry for a win and maybe gets a little too aggressive here in the closing laps. That's pretty much the only shot he has.
That's right. And Bruce Pearson also trying to secure that 3rd position. He's right in front of John Wilson right now on track in the 16th position. And so both of those guys having a really bad night. That is an opportunity for Kurt Smith. Kurt Smith in that 6 car riding up inside the top 10. And he's where is he right now? Running in 9th. And based on that running position, he will overtake Bruce Pearson if they were to finish like that. And he's 7 behind Liston. So as they run, he would also overtake Liston, and he would finish 2nd in points if they finished like this.
Yeah, and you got to think there, Kurt's starting in 9th. He's going to be on the bottom. We saw how beneficiary that is, so you got to assume he's probably going to move up to at least 7th or 8th here. So as long as, he can keep these cautions under check and just run a smooth deal, he might gain himself a couple spots.
Yeah, so if you're John Wilson, you're really looking for some chaos to happen in the mid-pack right here, because if that is to happen, that could give him some free positions and really save his championship run. But it's Todd Liston doing everything he needs to do. He is 2nd in points coming into tonight, but if he were to finish right now, he would win by a wide margin. So he's looking to keep that lead as they come back to the restart with only about 17 laps to go right here. So, Scott Negus has been coming. He's fast. He's on the outside line. Let's see if he can do anything with Liston. They hit the restart zone, and it's Todd Liston on the loud pedal. He's going to get away with Scott Negus and Mark Herzog side by side for 2nd. It all sorted out inside the top 4, although now Jeffrey Harden looks to the inside of Negus. Negus not able to do anything on the outside lane and might lose that 3rd position to Harden as Harden's hungry, man. He hasn't been up front here in the last couple of weeks. He really wants to get himself another win, get that taste of victory lane again.
Yeah, I clicked that dang wrong button there when you expected me to talk again, but Herzog did really well on that restart, and I mean Negus, he's got to find a way to the bottom.
A lot of contact further back, and Trey Bloom's going to go around, but this is a wreck that was in the making for quite a while. Trey Bloom is pointed the wrong way. There is no caution, but he still sits to the inside of turn 1. Let's see if he can get this thing turned back around. The leaders are coming, and he's still sitting down on the apron back here. This is what happened. It was a lot of wrecking going on. Speeds gets out of shape, and you see that Trey Bloom has to get out of it, but they're racing hot and heavy for the lead now as the 57 of Herzog is all over the back end of the 87 now for the lead.
And you know, there's a couple misfortune there. There's a couple spots there for John Wilson, so if he could just keep this up, just tick off a couple every laps, he might get back in this thing.
That's right. That's what I was talking about. He was looking for a little bit of chaos to happen, and that was a little bit of chaos. Further up toward the front, you see Scott Negus peeking out to the inside on Jeffrey Harden there in turns 1 and 2. He wasn't able to get there. They go back to single file, but these 4 cars are all under a blanket off of turn 4.
Yeah, and you know, that 57, we talked to him, man. He's hungry. He's looking out high. He's trying to diamond these corners.
Oh, trouble behind him. Joe Segala. Kingpin gets turned around by the boss man, and Kurt Smith gets spun around in the process, and he's battling for that second position in points. He's pointed the wrong way in turns 1 and 2. Caution flies for the 81 and the 6 machine, pointed in the wrong direction. Oh boy, that's chaos right there. You see Lowell look to the inside of the 81 of Segala, not able to get there, and he gets into the back of Segala, and Kurt Smith, just nothing he could do, right into the side of Segala while he gets scooped up from behind by Adam Shane. And that's unfortunate for Smith, because as they ran, he was looking at taking second in points for the season. So now he loses all that track position.
No, and you got to think, I mean, soft spin there, probably not a lot of damage, but this late in the race here, heating up your tires that bad after they're already that worn, man, you really don't have much left here to go back and get anyone left, and you're running out of time.
And to add insult to injury, Kurt Smith and Joe Segala both lost a lap on that exchange. When they got the things pointed in the right direction, Liston had already gotten by them. So they're going to end up falling to the back of this field right here. And you saw Trey Bloom there. He got one of his laps back. He was 3 down. He'll now be 2 down. So 15 cars on the lead lap. This moves John Wilson up into the 13th position. So as they run, 12 position difference between Todd Liston and John Wilson. That would give Todd Liston the championship. We are getting down to the end of this thing. It is go time, and John Wilson's going to have to find a few more spots.
Yeah, and you know, you just gotta, it's one of those things where sometimes you just get lucky. You know, Todd last week with a bit of misfortune there, but he got to start up towards the front here this week, Ricky, and that could end up being the difference. I mean, John having to start in the back of the pack after finishing 4th last week, it's too much to overcome with all the early incidents. I mean, there aren't many cars out there that have all 4 fenders still straight on them.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you see the 81 of Segala is going to be reshuffled to the back of the line as he was trapped a lap down right here. All the lead lap cars go around him on the outside. That means we're coming back to the 1 to go signal. And let's take it back to last week and just remember what happened. Todd Liston and John Wilson were racing each other inside the top 5, and Todd Liston got a little bit of a bumper check from the back, and that was John Wilson. The way they were running, they would have been tied for the championship lead coming into this. And Liston, unfortunately, lost a lot of ground and finished poorly. But as you mentioned, that caused him to have a good starting position here tonight because we invert the top 15. So that works to his benefit because it's been a pretty chaotic race.
Yeah, you know, you never know what it's going to be like. You can't tell the future, but with the chaos, I think he'd take the payoff from last week is able to get out front early and just kind of run his own race and let all the madness happen behind him.
No doubt about it. And let's reset it for you. With 5 laps to go here at the line. Todd Liston on the inside, Mark Herzog on the outside. They come down into the restart zone, and Liston is on the loud pedal once again. He's going to get away free and clear, and it's going to be the battle for second. It's going to be the 57 of Herzog getting clear of Jeffrey Harden. Is Jeffrey going to try to sit it down in there? Not going to be able to make it happen. They're all single file inside the top 4, but Herzog with a really good run off of turn number 2. He looks to the inside of Liston, not going to be able to make it happen yet.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Contact behind him. It's going to be Jeffrey Harden, and there's going to be a lot of cars going around, and John Wilson is able to get through it. He gets a little bit of contact, but he gets through it. He's going to be in the championship lead as they run with a green-white checker to go.
Oh my gosh, the drama builds, Ricky.
Unbelievable. Let's take a look at this replay off of turn number 4. Jeffrey Harden got a little bit of contact from Scott Negus, and he gets sideways. Negus checks up, and it causes everybody to, according back. We're on board with John Wilson. Let's see what he sees. Track is almost blocked the way it looks here. Harden spins to the inside. You got another couple cars spin in the middle. You see the 39 up in the air. Brendan Myers closes the track down, and the 75's on the binders, barely makes contact with the 25 and gets through there with not taking on a whole lot more damage, I believe.
Let Jesus take the wheel, Ricky.
Unbelievable. John Wilson, sometimes you need a little bit of luck in this type of racing, and I believe John just got it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of laps here, but 2 laps, but a lot can happen yet. So if you're John, you just got to run your own race. You got to try to stay plugged to that bottom. You just can't let anyone get under you, and you got to do your best.
I'm still in awe at the move that John Wilson made to the top of the track, and Brendan Myers' car just kind of shooting out of the way just in time. I know there was a little bit of contact there. We don't know if it's affected any suspension parts on that 75 car, so he still could be in trouble right here on this restart. He's got to make these final 2 laps and maintain the track position he's in. But he is, it looks like he's in the 8th position because Negus was able to get his spot back. So that's going to put John Wilson on the outside lane. Well, maybe he's back to 9th right here. Yep, that's because that car went around him, I believe. So maybe he's going to be on the inside lane. Yeah, 9th position. And all he has to do is maintain that 9th position. 9th or better, he wins this championship.
Man, he really, you know, as much as you don't want to put the pressure on him, man, he holds his own fate here. If he can just hold on, Ricky.
Yeah, you know he's lobbying on the radio right now. Guys, I'm racing for a championship. Please give me some room. Don't let anybody make contact with me. Don't let anybody ruin this for me. We're going to reset it for you. We're coming back to a green-white checkered finish. We get 1 attempt at a green-white checkered, and what that means is that we're going to have 2 laps to settle it. We're going to get the restart. It's a green, and they're going to come back to the white flag, and the next flag is the checkered flag, which will end the race. If we get a caution in that first lap after the restart, race is over. Field is frozen the way they were when the caution flag flies. And the way caution flags have flown, we might see that yet, but it's going to be a battle for the lead between the 87 of Liston and the 57 of Mark Herzog. They come back toward the restart zone, and you see the pace car is going to make that hard left-hand turn, and those guys are nose to nose off of turn 4. Liston gets a great jump. He's down and away. He's going to be all by his lonesome down into turn 1 while the battle is side by side behind him. We see 3 wide further back in the field. John Wilson is part of that, but he's going to make up a little bit of ground coming through the field. John Wilson is, and he is in the catbird seat as they come back to the white flag. Liston doing everything he can. He has the lead.
Yeah, John Wilson, he's got that 1 spot buffer here.
Contact with Herzog. Herzog into the outside wall. He goes around. There's no caution. We're coming back to the checkered flag. Todd Liston, he has the lead off of turn number 4. Todd Liston is going to win the race. John Wilson falls back 1 more spot with Steven Spies, but he actually gets Spies at the line. So it's going to be John Wilson finishing 7th and picking up the championship here in season 27 of the Bootleg Racing League Late Model Invitational Series.
Man, it looked it was gloomy there for a long time, Ricky, and the gods smiled on the Canadian there at the end, and looks like the trophy is going north of the border.
Unbelievable job in those closing laps by John Wilson. Man, what a job he did to hold that thing together. Adversity he faced early in the race, and Todd Liston, can't say enough about him. He did everything right. He did everything he could do. He took the checkered flag, and he's going to come up just a couple points short. We'll be back with you on the other side. We're going to talk to these top 3. We're going to talk to John Wilson. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you on Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to the Virtual Grip Network. We have just seen a barn burner of a race here to finish out season 27 of the Late Model Invitational Series. Let's take a look at how they finished. Todd Liston battling toward that championship. He wasn't able to get it done, but he did get the win tonight. He did everything right. He did everything he could do, and that's all you can ask out of that 87 car, finishing first. Adam Shane finishes in the second spot. Mike Holloway, great run. He's surged up into the third position late. Lowell Jewell, the boss man, almost onto that podium for the last week of the season. He's going to finish fourth with the Butcher Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder, finishing in fifth. Scott Negus finishes sixth, and there's the champ, John Wilson, the Canadian Goose. Everything opened up for him in his last couple of restarts, and he was able to bring it home seventh, and unofficially a 3-point margin for the championship. In eighth position, Steven Spees in the double nickel, and Donnie Moore finishes ninth in that 26 car with Tom Hilbert rounding out the top 10.
Chris Hazlip's going to bring it home 11th. Behind him, the double deuce Bruce Pearson in 12th. Joe Segala is going to round us out, the Baker's Dozen spot there. Jeffrey Harden, 14th. Mark Herzog, your top 15. We saw he had a real good run going, was in third place there until the last lap, but got turned in 1 and 2 there after a little incident. And Kurt Smith's going to bring it home 16th. Trey Bloom 17th. Brennan Myers 18th. And Steve Hilbert rounding out the field in 19th.
What a race we saw, Shaggy. I'm going to throw it to you to chat with Todd Liston. I know it's got to be a bittersweet day for Liston. What you got down there?
Hey, Todd.
We gave it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, man. That was a great intro. Keep rolling. Keep rolling with it.
Hey, we did everything we could today. Happy to bring home the win. Hope to start off strong next season if I can make the opener. Jury's still out on that one, but shout out to John, who ran a heck of a season. It was fun chasing him down till the very end. It was a nice little points battle. Shout out to Scott and Mark. They both had rockets tonight. It seemed like every time I'd go on those restarts, my spotter would tell me I had the fastest lap, and then 2 seconds later it'd be like, "Call P2 has fastest lap." Oh no!
Yeah, you're able. You was starting fourth there. You're able to get out front early, and I know you're in the car, Todd. But how aware were you? Did you realize that John Wilson got into trouble there in lap 3, and that for I would say 98 of those 103 laps, you were going to win this championship?
Unlike most of my races, I was definitely every caution, checking in standings, watching it, every single caution. There were quite a few of them, and he pulled it off, so congrats to him. He got it back up there and was able to salvage a good finish and get the championship.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and check that out. The move he made to drive through a big wreck on the front stretch is what ended up winning him that championship. That was a big move. But, hey, Todd, like Ricky said, man, you did what you had to do. You went out here and won this thing. Did all you could, man. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank my wife, Caitlin, and son, James, my nephews, Josh and Devin, tuning in. I want to thank my team, Indy Auto Sport. And once again, I want to thank everybody here in the Bootleg and Lowell for putting it on. It's a learning experience every time, getting better every season. And you guys up in the booth for putting on a quality show every week.
A hell of a job here, Todd, and hopefully, man, you can climb the spots one more here at the end of the next points. Good luck.
Thank you, Shaggy.
Thanks, Shaggy. Finishing in the second spot tonight, it was the 79 of Adam Shane. Adam Shane, I want to take you all the way back to lap 2 because you had an incident. You ended up on your lid. How'd you finish P2?
You got me. I'm there.
How in the world did you make that happen? You were looking at about back half of the top 10 with 10 laps to go, and yet you got all the way up into the second spot. Tell us about your night.
Oh, well, it started rough, as you've seen in like lap 2, and I was down a lap, and since I was down, I figured I would just tire save because there was no reason for me to even try to race. And then we had that long green run, and I was making my way up because I don't know, maybe because I just saved my tires for those 15 laps. But after that, it was luck, really. I mean, I was on the outside of Lowell when the last caution came out and got through that, so it was luck played part tonight. But yeah, after that, after that first or at that wreck on the lap 2, I was just on a mission.
You sure were, and you made it happen. Up 9 spots since the start of the race, but that didn't tell the whole picture because you had to face so much adversity to get back up there. Anybody you want to thank for another great season here in the Bootleg Racing League?
Yeah, I want to thank my sponsor, Uniquely BBs, and my wife for letting me do this, and I want to. That's about it, really. And thank you guys for all your great broadcasting. I love watching it.
Well, we appreciate that, Adam. There you have it. Adam Shane didn't keep the shiny side up all night long, but he did finish P2, so you got to admire that. Shaggy, who you got for third place?
I think we're bringing up Mike Holloway. Mike, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mike, all right. White flag lap. You're coming to the white flag. You're in 6th place. Did you have any dream there of locking down the podium, man? How'd you pull that off?
To be honest with you, I'm just as surprised as you are. I mean, for as much damage as my car had from that earlier wreck, it was running pretty good. And when we got the green-white checker, when the green came out, I just kind of thought, man, I mean, I'll kind of fight for what I can and see what we can do. Last lap, I'm like, holy cow, I'm in 3rd.
Yeah, you know, you send it off there into turn 1 and 2, and you see Mike Holloway, the seas parted in front of you. He goes up in the wall, and, man, that run you got coming out of 2, able to go by there Scott Negus and Lowell Jewell, make a move on him, man. You had to have a lot of tires in that thing left. After you got damaged, did you just go into save mode here? Did you try to save to the end?
I did some. I had to battle Trey Bloom there for a good bit for the lucky dog. So I used it up some there, but I think overall I did pretty decent on saving, and it made up for it at the end there.
Yeah, and you know, when you get out of that car here, you take a look at it, that thing's pretty beat up. So to be able to bring that thing home P3, Mike, that's a hell of a wheel, man, in that thing tonight. Great job. Who you want to thank?
I just got to thank Lowell and everybody in this league. It's such a good time here. So, yeah, like I said, I'm still surprised. That was fun.
Well, hey, great run, Mike, and you got to think, man, this P3, you got to carry that momentum into next season here. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, man.
Now I think we got a points champion down there waiting for you, Ricky.
Absolutely. The Canadian Goose. He spreads his wings. John Wilson. Congratulations. You are our season 27 champion in the BRL Late Model Invitational Series. How are you feeling right now?
I'm shocked, kind of. I thought I had given it away when I got caught up in that early incident. I thought I was only 6 points up on Todd, and when I finished 7th, I thought I had a repeat of last season where I lost it by 1.
Oh my goodness, that's got to be a gut-wrenching feeling. Let's take it all the way back to lap 2 then. You see the incident happen in front of you. You try to squeeze by on the outside, and you get squeezed into that outside wall, and you see the meatball flag pop up. What's going through your mind at that time? Are you thinking you're done?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I thought I was, but I just thought, you know what, just go in, get it fixed, get back out there, and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, and you soldiered on all night long. Car was wounded, wasn't keeping up with some of the other guys out there. You were just taking what you could get. But I want to take you back to lap 95. You're restarting with 5 laps to go, all the way back in the 13th position. And you know Todd Liston's leading. And you've battled this adversity all night long and stayed in this race. What's going through your mind at that time?
Just get as many spots as you can. Get as close to that 87 as possible.
And when you see that big incident happen in front of you and the track looks blocked, what's going through your mind then?
I didn't know how I actually got through that one. I saw
none of us do either. Don't worry.
Saw cars hit the wall in front of me, and I kind of just closed my eyes and hoped for the best, and it worked
You
out.
didn't let Jesus take the wheel. I was right.
Yeah, that's what we were all thinking there, John. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch you get through that incident. And when you go back and watch it, you're going to say, wow. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable, but it worked out for you. You made it through that. Not only that, you made up some more spots on the next restart, and you found yourself the champion. Man, what a race.
Yeah, it was awesome. I wish it had started out a little different, but it's pretty cool to win one of these things, especially on a broadcasted series.
Well, congratulations, man. Your 3rd championship in Bootleg Racing League. Who do you want to thank for the effort this season?
Oh, I definitely got to thank my teammates at Continuous Development, Chris Davis and Matt Hoos. Matt has been I don't even know the words, helpful in getting me to where I'm at, and Chris as well. So I definitely got to thank those guys. Got to thank actually everybody that runs in this league, man. They all race you clean. No complaints about anybody, other than maybe they could move out of the way and make me not have to work so hard.
Love it.
No, I got to thank Lowell for sure for putting this league on and giving us this place to race. You guys and Ryan up in the booth doing all your hard work, man. It's always fun to go back and watch the broadcasts. And I think that's about all.
Wow. Congratulations, John. Season champion here in the Late Model Invitational Series. And I know Matt Hoos was out there in the YouTube chat all night long. Shout out to Matt. Cheering you on. And that's really cool to see you guys get it done. And that's it for our driver interviews tonight. Appreciate everybody for talking to us. Let's take a look at what we have upcoming here on the Virtual Grip Network. Next week, well, let's start out with 2 weeks from now, because we're going to start our next seasons of broadcasted races in the Bootleg Racing League. It's the Outlaw SK Modified Series and the BRL Late Model Series. They're going to be at North Wilkesboro Speedway, starting seasons 37 and 28, respectively. Same times as tonight, so we'll see you there. But before that, we've got our shootout in the Bootleg Racing League coming next week at Southern National Speedway. That's in the ARCA car. Skitter Creek qualifier is going to be at 7:40 p.m. Eastern in the normal SK modified slot. And then the Stone River Shootout is right after that, and that's going to be at 9:10 p.m. Eastern. So be there. It's the best of the best. It's always a great time, and I'll be here on the call with somebody. Hopefully we got Soup back. Hopefully he's able to avoid the catastrophe of the fires that are out there. We're thinking about you, Soup, and we're hoping you're back in your house and everything's safe and sound, man. Can't wait to have you back. Thank you, Zach Shaggy Chapman, for hanging out with me in the booth tonight. It's been really fun for these two races. And Brian Sineker producing and directing this show. We couldn't do it without him. He tries to make us look good, and we try to step all over it anyway. Lowell Jewell, appreciate him. He's the guy that runs the show. We call him the boss, man, and we appreciate him for putting the Bootleg Racing League on. And this has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, and we'll see you next time. Love you guys.